better. And today is Monday, so we're here with coffee, tea, thoughts, and conversations. So we're hoping that you'll join in today. I'm here with my lovely co-host, Miss Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva. I'm Terralina from California Cover Ups, and we're the Biz Chicks. So sit back, relax. We're going to have a pleasant conversation to start your week off right to help you do business better. What's happening today, Fran? How you doing?
Well, I am well. I'm enjoying the rain here in California, Sacramento,
Woo!
California. We've got rain.
And anytime we get rain, we celebrate, girl.
Hey, Jay. Jay is here. Thank you, Jay, for tuning in. We're talking today projections.
Mm-hmm.
And I must get my iPad because that's where my notes are. But we're
Okay.
talking about projections. Let's I
Mm-hmm.
can pull it up on here. Uh,
Which you usually can because we are Mac people.
right. I can pull it up. I'm just waiting on uh, the note has to complete downloading over
Mm-hmm.
here. But anyway, today
Hey, Jay.
we were talking about projections.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
what the definition? Can anybody in the chat or watching live tell us what a projection is? And you can hear the music, right? Okay.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Is that Jeopardy or what is that?
Well,
I think that's
somebody
the Jeopardy
show.
too. So the question is, what is a projection? Jay,
What,
it's so good to have you on board, and we're talking about projections for 2020.
what
Or,
what is a projection, people? What's the definition?
hey, Brenna, how you doing? Thanks for joining us.
Okay, Jay says where you're
Where you
going in
going?
the future.
There you go.
Ding, 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 ding. Jay, we're going to give you a copy of our book, Dick and Jane Build a Business, because that is
Hey,
the right answer.
I love it. I love it.
Good morning, Brenna. So, yeah.
Brenda says, "Good morning, Jeopardy."
So, Jay, put in our direct message, put where we can send that to you, or I might just send you over to Amazon and you can download it, figure out how to get it to you. But
Mm-hmm.
hey, Nazim from Italy.
What's happening
Woo-hoo!
over in Italy?
Yes. But Jay, make sure you give me your address in the direct message so that we can send that to you. Because you answered that question perfectly. Projection is where you are going in the future. And Nazim can speak to this in the line of work that he does. In business, you need to know where you're going. Oh, wait, was it hockey that says skate to where the puck is going?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think that's the term.
Yeah, so you skate to where the puck is going, not where you are right now. Where are you going? So where's everybody going in 2020? What will I'm supposed to read the
Definition.
definition of projection. So where are we going in 2020?
I don't know, but Nazim says your hair is off the charts, girl. He loves it.
Thank you, Nazim.
Brenna has a definition too, which we'll
Yeah,
be
let's go with
sharing.
Brenda. I'm gonna put hers up too. Let me put up Jay's where you're going
Mm-hmm.
in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And then Brenna says projection is your foresight of where you'll be in 6 months or more.
I love it.
Right. So I'm gonna ask these questions and I'm still gonna go back to my definitions here that I
Okay.
have in here. Did you do your projections for September? Everybody inside over here, because the whole reason why we're here is to help people build a profitable business that's fun to run. We need to see results of that.
Mm.
take the hassle out of your hustle. That's
Yes.
what we are here to do. So if the information that we share is not doing that, then we need to tweak our presentation to make sure that we're hitting that goal.
Gotcha.
Okay, so did you do your projections for September? Because we talked about this before. Where are you going? And you can do projections on a daily basis. Your daily schedule is a projection of where you're going for that day. Hey,
Yep.
Karen.
Hey, Coach, what's happening?
So where are you going for today?
And rich people ask two questions: where am I going, and who am I taking with me? That's what they ask. Where am I going? Which is what the projection is it not?
Right.
You're asking yourself, where am I going?
When you started this business, where did you think you were going to be ended up with it? Where did you think you were going to be when you started the business? Are you where you were going to be when you started the business? So I'm going to give these are the definitions from the Merriam-Webster dictionary, and I picked the ones that best articulated what I thought about when I said projection.
Okay.
A transforming change. The act of throwing or thrusting forward. Okay. The forming of a plan. Scheming. So scheming is not a bad thing. It's a plan. I think when we hear a scheme, we hear the negative connotation.
Yes.
But the scheming is not a bad thing unless whatever result you're looking for is to defraud somebody or not good for somebody else. Karen, the conversation today is projection 2020 projections. What's your plan? The next definition is the display of motion pictures by projecting an image from them upon a screen. Now, I know we're not in the movie industry, and I think we might have just dropped a signal. I'm not sure because
we're fine.
Okay. We are the display of a motion picture by projecting an image from them on a screen. So when you're projecting the image on the screen, what is it that you see? It's all about what you're seeing in front of you. Projection. Okay, another one. Control of the volume, clarity, and distinctness of a voice to gain greater audibility.
I like that one because there can be no change without sound. Because the first thing that happened was he spoke.
So
sound is important for things to shift, take place, create.
So in video, video will not work right if the audio is crazy. So control of the volume, clarity, and distinctness of a voice to gain greater audibility. So you're controlling your narrative. You are controlling your story. You're controlling what's being your business and your business model. You are controlling all of that. What are you saying about your business? And then the last definition that I wanted to share is an estimate of future possibilities based on current trend. So what's your future looking like? As Brenna said, and as Jay said, it's what's happening in the future. What's happening in your future? Is your future going as planned? Is your future going as planned? Or did we even stop to plan it? Your dream demands a plan. every aspect of it. So when I was asking the question, how were your projections for September? Now I know Coach Karen, she plans all the time. She has everything, meals are planned. She knows what she's going to eat for the next 7 days, what she's going to wear. She plans to the ninth degree. The successful companies that we know of have all planned that out to the ninth degree. Okay, Apple just released their Apple. They just had their
event. They call it the Apple event, right?
Right. They just had that event. They talked to us about the Series 5 watch, and they talked to us about new iPad iOS, the new iOS for iPad, and they talked to us about iPhone 11. I just bought iPhone 10.
Less than 2 years ago.
Less than a year ago. But the iPhone 11 is already out, and we just bought this phone. I think I bought this phone in May, April. Now, and it's been out since October of last year. But what did they do? They had already projected the 11 while they're selling the 10s.
Absolutely, because it's in R&D at least 2 years in advance, right? Because they want to test it. They want to, you know what I'm saying? Because they're all about quality. So they've got it in beta for at least a year. So, and they have to R&D it for a year. So I say at least 2 years out.
Right. And for those who don't know, R&D means research and development. They just didn't come up one day and said, oh, okay, we're going to make a phone and just slap something together. They planned this out 2 years before launch, and they had a launch date in mind. Okay. So when we're talking about projections, we need what we do today is going to affect the week, and the week is going to affect the month, and the month is going to affect the quarter, and the quarter is going to affect the year, and the year is going to affect our next 5 years, 15, 20 years. So what are your projections looking like? And people can weigh in on here too.
I don't know, but I know, we used to be freaked out by the fact that I think Russia had a 5-year plan, but China has a 500-year plan. Okay, they are playing a long-term game, and maybe if we thought more about generational, in terms of generational things, we would have a better plan because it wouldn't all be based on us. Just a thought.
Just 500 years.
500 years is no joke.
It's not.
But it's going to pass if we
right. It's going to pass whether you do your plan or not.
And I used to say that to my kids, whether you go to school or not, time is going to pass. You can either spend it in school, out of school, do what you want to do, gaining a skill, not gaining a skill, but regardless, time is going to pass.
And hey, Yolanda. Okay, so what are you doing about your plan? Now, Karen says, yes, you are playing the long game or the short term. Which one are you doing?
Exactly.
And it's okay. You still need a plan for either one of them. Okay, on Fridays we talk about tech, right? And then we do a segment that's called This Week in Tech History, or This Day in Tech History. Well, a lot of times that the tech that we've been following, we're riding on the stuff that we have right now is riding on something someone did back in the 1800s.
Exactly.
Now, did you know that although everything is wireless in the cloud and all of that, it is still running on a cable that's running under the ocean?
Yeah. That was laid in the 1800s, right?
Right. It was laid in the 1800s. I'm thinking Marconi or someone. They laid that
Well, that
cable.
was the radio signal. Yeah, I think it was Marconi who was involved with the laying of the cable. Yeah.
Right. So that cable is still functioning and it's very integral for what we're doing right now. Everything has been laid upon one another thing.
Oh, layer upon layer.
Upon layer. Right. So I can see how the Chinese can do a 500-year plan if they're taking based on what we've been here, where are we going now? What are we going to do now? What tweaks do we need to make to ensure this and to ensure that? And so they're doing this plan. Somebody is watching it. And okay, you talk a lot about delayed gratification.
Okay.
But if we are all running after six figures in 5 days, you're not going to do some things that's going to be long term for the next generation. It's not likely. Let's put it that way.
Okay. And to sustain the wealth, because have you stopped long enough to teach someone how you got there and how to maintain it? Are you paying attention? I guess is the thing. Because your projection, does it include a plan for the next, I don't know, the next quarter, the next 5 days, if you got the six figures in 5 days, whatever your terms are.
There has to be a plan. So Yolanda is saying, she says she's celebrating the last 5 years, getting ready for 2025.
I love it.
Not 2020. I like that. Because we should be past 2020 right now. Okay, so here's a little news flash. Did you know that your Karen says we need both, but the long-term game allows you to work with the short-term. Thank you. And Brenna says we need to have sustainable development.
I like that term, sustainable development, generational wealth.
Did you know that there are changes to how you travel in the United States? Okay, well, here in California, they've been telling us since 2018 that your driver's license is not going to be at an
authorized form of identification for air travel.
It's not going to be authorized for you to move in and out of the country anymore, and that you need to get a federally regulated driver's license. Now, they've been saying this for however long. And people are like, la, 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 I don't feel like getting in line. I don't want to do it, whatever. Okay, you're not going to be able to go anywhere unless you have a passport.
Okay.
So you can have a passport or that license, or you can have the license and a passport, but the change has happened. Are you ready for that change? What happens if you have to go out of the country unexpectedly?
You need to go to an airport. It's just the airport. It's air travel.
You can't, you're not going to be able to use that
old driver's license.
Yeah, you're going to need an updated driver's license to travel, period, from state to state.
Correct, because it's federal.
Right.
So it's internal and external.
But it's a change that they have been saying it, but have you done it? So what changes have occurred in your industry that you need to pay attention to? Okay, because the 5-year plan, or did you just jump in this business just to, let's see what's going to happen? And that's okay too, if you just jump in just to test it out or whatever. But if you're in this, like Coach Karen says, if you're in it for business and not a hobby, there's some things that you're going to need to be doing. There needs to be projections and plans, because all major companies has those. All major companies have a projected plan.
Gotcha.
Now, you used to work at Levi Strauss. Okay, they had a projected plan
For everything.
for every aspect of
For
the
everything.
business.
And they knew, for instance, when they knew that the Olympics was coming up, they started like 8 years in advance trying to get the contract to make those sports things,
The track suits.
track suits, etc. They wanted to be the provider. They wanted to do the jackets. They wanted to do the hats. You know how when you have the parade when they first come in, so they
Right.
have uniforms. So they wanted to do, and they started. What
Putting
would
in
you?
their proposals.
Yeah, to be the provider. So, and then when they got the contract, then they started to design. But they didn't start it 6 weeks before they needed to make the stuff, even though they could have made it in 6 weeks. They had 54 plants. But nevertheless, it was a long range plan. Then they had a plan for how we're going to market this. Where's it going to go? We're going to be at this conference and that conference, and we're going to be showing off the stuff and displays and all of that. So there's a long range plan when it comes to business about how you're going to market it, how you're going to let people know what you got.
So it sounds like there's a lot of sitting down and mapping out whatever it is that we want. Do you need new equipment for 2020, 2021? Is the equipment changing? Do you need a new computer? Okay, I'm going to go here. Is your phone still flip? And
I know.
The new phone, if it was made to be flip and it's new, fine. But if it's flipped from back at StarTAC or something.
And it's not the new retro model. I don't
know. Okay, so here's Coach Karen. In 2022, Money Mindset Academy will be fully running with several coaches, teachers in their expertise. This planning has been going on for a while with lots of trial and learning curves.
There we go.
Okay, see, but that's a thought process that's out there. Just because we're planning long term does not mean we can't have fun on the short end of this.
I think that once you have a plan, it's easier to do a bigger plan. Do you understand what I'm saying?
To add to it,
yes,
and plan that you already have, to tweak it, to expand upon it.
The thing is to get somewhere, sit down and do a plan.
Right. You in the planning, you're going to be calling in experts. You're going to be making phone calls. Who do I need to do this? Because you can't do this by yourself. I'm going to say it again. You cannot do this by yourself. Levi Strauss could not himself make them jeans and run that plant by himself. Of course, he's gone now, but he had to have workers in 54 plants making clothes.
Just saying.
There was a plan for that. And we still buy 501s.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And they were the last holdout to move to Mexico. They just finally could not compete. But I see them because they are so dedicated to the American market. I can see them coming back across the border. But yeah, long-term commitments. But they have a long-term projection plan.
They've been around for over 100 years. That's a long-term projection plan. Let's take Wells Fargo, who also had a long-term projection plan. They were in there for a long time. Then somebody with short-minded,
bless their hearts,
short-minded
vision
got in there and messed stuff up, and now they had to go back and recreate or reestablish trust with their brand to continue it on if they want to be another 150 years.
Exactly.
So do you need training or coaching? Have you factored, because this is Coach Karen talks about this a lot. Have you factored coaching and training in your 2020 plan, your 2021 plan, your 2025 plan? Are you bringing in coaches, or are you going to go see some coaches, or are you going to getting some training? What training do you need for your industry? Do you need to get some insurance? Okay, because
Mercy.
as you grow your company,
Mm-hmm.
people are going to come and try and get your money. Okay, I'm just being real. Let's take, there are people trying to deregulate you, trying to do stuff. Let's take Uber. Okay, here in California, where Uber was created and what have you, there are people who want Uber to hire the drivers as employees. I'm like, the whole purpose.
But that was not the business model.
That was not the business model, to have employees. So there are regulators who are trying to say, or people, I believe it's people who do not have an entrepreneurial mindset that want, Uber should.
They want to be an employee.
They want to be an employee.
They're trying to unionize. They're trying to do a lot of things that are going to mess up the business model. And you know what's going to happen? Okay, so they'll get them all together. And you know what? They'll just fold the business and go up here and start under a different name with the original business model. It just makes no sense.
Right, because nobody, when I drove for Uber, my whole thing was I can start and stop when I wanted to.
It's a gig.
I don't want you to tell me, if I'm a mommy and I run Uber after I drop my kids off at daycare or
exactly for an hour or two.
I don't need you to come. I don't want you in my pocket like that. I don't want you telling me when I can come and when I cannot come. That's crazy.
It's a different business model. That's taxi service. You need a medallion. You want to be an employee, go over there and pay all those fees.
And the taxis are not even employees. They're still, the drivers are not
considered private contractors.
They might be working and they work on shifts and stuff, but I don't think they work like an employee, because that just don't make sense. So what the moral of the story is, now you want government's trying to get in so that they get workman comp and all kind of other stuff, and then the fees keep going up and up and up and up
on the business. So obviously they're going to have to pay you less or split the cost at a different rate so they can provide these benefits, because somebody's got to pay for it. It's got to come out of somewhere.
Yes. Okay. So whoever the employee-minded people are, they want benefits and they want hourly and they want to be.
And I say, go get a different job. Go get a different gig.
Yeah.
You need a job. This is a gig economy.
If you want a job, go somewhere and get a job.
9-to-5 job.
And that's okay.
These businesses, the business models are set up so that people can put together a bunch of different gigs.
And have time to do, they want to have time to build their business and still earn a little something on the side while they're doing their main thing.
Or it's a stopgap while they're in between jobs. Okay, they downsized, I'm out of a job. I don't have to try to survive off of unemployment. Or what happens when my unemployment runs out? Or is it that I can't do my regular and comparable work, but I can do something else? Like I can be a shadow shopper, or I can, because I don't have to lift or whatever, which is what put me out of work. So these are ways for people to make ends meet. Remember that term? Making ends meet?
The employee situation didn't come along until after the 20s, I do believe, when the Industrial Revolution hit and where they had factory workers going in.
You mean till the unions really started advocating, and that was after a couple of fires and some trauma to employees.
There were no
weekends off. there were some real benefits came out of the labor movement because
so I understand that, but prior to that, it was all mom and pop shops.
It was all cottage industry.
Right.
And so we're going back to that though, Fran.
Exactly. That is why I'm saying about planning, because we're not even though you're not the huge big corporation, you need to plan like one. You need, and the whole thing was, do you have your insurances in place? Because as you get bigger and you make more money, you become a bigger target.
Well, we've got some comments here that are really helpful. From Brenna and Yolanda. I'm interested in this, Yolanda, this app that you're talking about.
Okay.
Do you see it, Fran?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go through her other comments too. She said mindset is the key. That is it, because people are trying to make Uber a company that hires the drivers. The mindset of those people, they need to go get a different job.
Exactly.
She also says they should convince public transportation to shift to cars.
There's a possibility. I think it's happening organically. You know what I mean?
After a while, there's not going to be a car. They're going to be having little planes. Okay, so are you ready for that? When they start having those, you do know that those are already a thing.
Yes, the elevated.
You can order a mini plane to fly you to wherever you want to go. That's already a thing.
It's expensive, but it's a thing.
Right.
And you know, everything starts out expensive.
Right.
Go ahead, Fran. What were you saying now?
And Brenna says business with integrity is sustainable now. The pollution from the jeans wasn't sustainable here. They were fine before. And I'm not sure.
I think she's talking about
Levi Strauss.
Levi Strauss. Everybody's been through something.
Right. And, yeah. And then Yolanda says a new app,
Wonolo.
New shift app allows people to pick up shifts at various companies. So now that is nice. So now the companies are like, hey, we can just have people come in on a shift, because you don't technically become an employee unless you pay them 40 hours a week.
Then
there's
that's part-time. Up to
40 hours
up to 30. Anything over 32, I think, is considered full-time.
Yeah,
so everybody's
because I know if you go over 20 hours, now you're moving into, okay, they need to pay benefits and some other stuff. But if you're under 20 hours a week, and if you just have people coming in, like,
well, you know what this
like that.
You know what this is? This is cutting through. Remember when you used to go to there was a part-time service that everybody went to get clerical work or whatever. I forgot the name of it.
There was a lot of them. There were temp agencies.
Yes, temp agencies. Thank you. And so this sounds like a virtual temp agency. So now you get to cut through all of that.
And
is that right, Yolanda?
Yeah, and here's something she said. She says, work now locally.
Is what it stands for.
Work now locally. So you can go get a gig. You can work for a few hours and pick up. It's like driving for Uber, but it's at a company. And you take your skill set to go work a couple of hours. You are not committed to that job.
You're not building a retirement off of it, people. It's just a gig.
It's replacing the temp agency.
Exactly. Cuts right across the middleman and straight to the employer. I love it.
Okay.
Because they were taking a big cut.
I am the epitome of what it means to be a career work from home queen. So this means planning is extremely important. And she loves the topic. Thank you, Coach Karen. So if you're going to be doing what you're doing, you need a plan. A projection is nothing more than a plan. What is going to happen? And how do you see stuff?
Where are you going and who are you taking with you?
Do you need other professional services? Yolanda says, up front what you make.
Ah, nice. You mean with this Wonolo?
Yes.
I like it. And then they send you a 1099-R and you file your own taxes. Gotcha. There's more coming in.
Yeah, Brenna. She says people driving for Uber, Lyft in the Bay Area aren't asking to be taken advantage of. I watched a frontline story on these drivers. They drive too much without benefits while the company charges them. The insurance, the certifications required, and fees cost so much more. No,
No.
that is not true. We both drove for Uber. That ain't how that
They
works.
cover the insurance. They cover. I
Yes.
don't know who they're working for, unless things have changed dramatically. And if they changed dramatically, it was because they called in the government, and the government said, "Here are the rules for employers."
Right, and because they covered our insurance up to
Every time somebody
$1,000,
got in the car,
yeah, they covered that insurance. They covered. I didn't have to have any certifications.
just a
All I
driver's license and a
clean,
inspected car.
clean. You had to have a clean car and a clean driving record. You cannot get up in the car with some crazy driving
Stupid
record.
stuff going off.
Yeah, you didn't have to have certification. And so a lot of stuff is not quite accurate with that, Brenna.
And the thing is that people want to turn something into what it's not intended to be.
Correct. It is not. It was never meant to be a corporation, because that, like you said before, then you could just have the taxi service that never picked people up on time, and it was crazy.
And we just go back to where we were, not being able to get what we need to get.
Or catch a bus.
And nobody has a gig, a side gig. I can't tell you how many retired people are driving for Uber and Lyft.
And they're enjoying it. And more and more people. I talked to the Uber guy yesterday. He said, "This is my first week and I just love it."
See?
Because here's the thing. You don't have benefits, but you don't have to. You can go get your own benefits.
And you're not regulated. You go to work when you want to go to work.
Right. And you stop working when you don't want to go to work. And what was the other thing? You got covered California. Because even if you weren't working and you had a job, you still got the law says that you have to have your insurance.
That you're eligible.
Oh, no, you by law, federal law, you have to have health insurance. Okay. That's why there's Covered California, and that's why there's the other stuff that you have to have. They'll penalize you if you don't have.
Via here in West Sacramento, little van that you can request pickup. It's a city-funded service. Yes, that's true. They do have Via.
Yes, yeah, and West Sac put that together, and that's great. And it'll drop you off in different places within
a zone.
In a zone that is perfectly fine. And I'm not seeing everything, Terry. So anyway.
Okay, so do you see Karen's comment? She says, people who love a job can't understand this. They can't understand the gig economy because they're looking for a job. Well, you're looking in the wrong place if you're looking at these gig economy type models.
You have to be, in order to do Uber, Lyft, or even work, which the Wonolo. In order to do those, your mindset has to be, okay, I need to take care of this. I need to set aside money for this. I need to have a plan for what you're doing with that. Because if you don't have the plan as a person that, okay, I need to set aside some insurance, I need to set aside my benefits and all of that, you're not going to do it. Because even with Uber, they gave us people to help us with our taxes. They said, here's a list of people. Make sure you turn in your taxes. Here's your W-9.
Your 1099-R.
Your 1099. Yes, here's your 1099. This is how much you make. Make sure you set aside money for your taxes. Make sure you keep your expense sheet like it was a small business.
Okay, and Brenna's getting us a link. But before we do that, Coach Karen says, we took an Uber, and the guy said it's much better than when they drove cabs.
When he drove a cab.
But then Brenna says they had a PBS hour
I can't
show,
see
and
that comment, so go ahead.
and she says she put the link in for the PBS.org News Hour Economy, why Uber and Lyft drivers are going on strike. People always go on strike because they want you to do something you didn't sign up to do.
Exactly. They want you to change to their model. And those are not all of them, because there's too many more people who are loving it and the other people who are not. They want to come in and change it to what they want. Don't drive.
And it could go away. You know, millennials are good for, shutting stuff down.
We're billionaires. Okay, y'all can do this.
We're going home. We made our billion. Meanwhile, you're putting people out of work.
And the thing is that the whole reason Uber was started was to give people a way to get around, because the cabs were not
showing up,
and it was the cab people were not.
The fare was exorbitant.
Oh my God! It was like, how much to go to the airport?
It's crazy.
So they were priced out, and they were like, they just got their friends and said, "Hey, Bill, can you give me a ride? You're on your way to something. Can you give me a ride?" That's how Uber started. They started as a service to help them one another get around to wherever they needed to go.
It's called a jitney. It's not new. It's just on an app, people.
Exactly. And they put it on the app. Where's your car?
Well, we're not here to defend anything. We're just saying that you need a plan.
Yes, and when you do have a plan that goes back to the insurance, you need to have an insurance in place, because people are going to try and sue you. And are you ready for that? Once you grow big enough, they're going to try and sue you. Let's ask Google. Google and Facebook and everybody else. They're a target now because they're bigger and they have billions. And there are people who are like, okay, they feel like they need to take some of those billions from them. Just saying. What will you do with your millions and billions?
Make sure you make enough so you can pay people to go away. Just saying. Well, Fran, this has been an interesting topic. But we hope everybody's going to get their projections together.
Right. And I'm saying this too. What are your household expenses for October? See, a lot of times we don't even do the projections for our household stuff. A lot of people are winging it. We're saying don't wing it. Brenna says, I took wheelchair cab for 7 years because there was nothing else for the urgent care service. I planned that for my daughter's doctor appointments. Okay. Karen says insurance is just a part of your plan too. Yep.
Yes, but they are adding services, Brenna. You may want to look at them, but because they are adding accommodations for persons with disabilities.
I have the certification from, now that there is a certification for me as I can do wheelchair
assistance.
Yeah, but not the type of chair that Brenna's daughter has. This is the fold-up wheelchair. I have the certification. I did the training where I can go up to a house and help them put their wheelchair in the back of the car. And I have that type of certification. Not everybody, because we have a friend and we were trying to get her from the hotel. We asked the hotel, do you have a van that can get her just
access for a chair?
The thing. Oh no, we don't have. We don't have a van like that. So somebody
with a lift,
a wheelchair, and so Brenna has the van now.
So Brenna, you may be able to make some serious money with Uber and Lyft, but if you don't want to be an employee.
Yes. And I'm thinking, because somebody needs to break into that market for medical transportation, that is not like paratransit where you got to book 2 days in advance.
Just crazy.
And you can't go anywhere. We stop running at 10 o'clock at night. And so you can't. the people who, and we're talking about a friend of ours, she has to book so far in advance to
And
even
she has to
purchase.
leave the event early because they stop running at a certain hour. So she
Correct.
can't stay till the end of events.
No, and she can't get to early parts of the event because it's not easy for her to maneuver and get around.
So that van may pay for itself. Okay.
So the final thought, whatever it is, write your projections and make them very clear for 2020, 2021, 22, 23, 24, 25. There is a long range projection. What do you want? Where do you see yourself? You know, all of the coaches tell us this. Where do you see yourself in 5 years, 10 years? What do you see yourself doing?
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, here's the thing. If you are having pain with something, maybe your business is figuring out how to solve that problem. Natalie Cruz says many insurance companies offer transportation or pay for transportation. Fighting them for it is another story. So maybe, Brenna, you need to have a conversation with Natalie. I know you have a van now, but there may be some people you can help.
Brenda said we took paratransit and it was agonizing. It really was.
Hey, Robin, how you doing?
For transportation. See, everybody who has a van with a lift, now that would be, Uber Medical. I'm saying it, Uber Medical, because now you can call somebody who has a lift, and maybe it's not instantaneously like in the next 10 minutes or something, but perhaps it's a 30-minute wait instead of 2 days trying to get a paratransit.
Exactly.
So this is long-term planning. Brenna, this might be something you can do. You get a fleet of vans, get a fleet of vans and start
taking reservations.
Right, because that industry needs to be what's the word? Disrupted.
I'm just saying. Seriously disrupted.
Right. And we might talk about that later on because disruption happens when people get fed up with the status quo.
There you go.
So this has all been said to what's your 2020 going to look like? What's your projections for going forward? And we just want to encourage you, have some, do long-term, do short-term, just do some, get somewhere, sit down and plan. And then let us know how it goes. We want to know if this has been helping you. Brenda says, I got another .org idea. Yes, you do.
I'm just saying. So call us. That's what we do, Brenda. Okay.
So we
love you guys.
We just want to say thank you for tuning in live. Thank you for the lively conversation. TJ will be in tomorrow to talk to us about social media marketing and digital marketing. And I'm learning, I'm playing over there with Twitch. We might be on Twitch next time. I'm gonna
interesting.
Add this to us tomorrow, or not tomorrow, our Monday through Friday stuff. We're gonna see if we can get it over there on Twitch. I'm learning new stuff.
You're just branching out, girl.
Well, I'm planning because we gotta meet a different audience. See,
that's true.
We gotta hit a different audience that's coming up that don't have any social media etiquette or business etiquette.
All right now.
I just want to say thank you to everybody. Nazim all the way from Italy, and Jay from California, Brenna from California, Karen from
Canada,
Toronto, Canada. Natalie, where are you from? And everybody else who's in here.
Yolanda, where are you from?
Yeah, tell us where you're from. Yolanda and Natalie, where are you from? We just want to say shout out and appreciate you. Thank you, Coach Karen. Looking forward to Coach Karen coming up on Wednesday.
Yes.
Yes. So with that, Terry.
Hey, don't forget to go to the front of your own line. We love you guys, and we'll see you same place, same station tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.